Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So tonight, we have episode 2 of the Fuckboy Chronicles series for my Storytime Sundays for you guys. First, let me fix this bun because it was looking cute at first and now it just looks like a big turd. If you did not see last week's Storytime Sunday, I will link that down below for you guys. I talked about Michael, and today I'll talk about David. So David was actually my very first boyfriend in middle school. In 6th grade, he had told me that I was pretty, and we mutually had interest in each other, and we decided to date one day. And we did it for a good 6 months, I want to say. And at first, we thought we were in love. Like, we thought it was like, oh my god, it's true love. Things didn't happen that way, and he actually left in middle school, and when he left, we broke up. That was it. And I didn't hear or see him at all for a good 2 years after that. I meet him in high school one more time, but we don't really talk. We just know of each other, going to the same high school. And it wasn't until, I want to say my sophomore year, about a month after I met Casey, we actually had our first like face-to-face interaction. And it was because Casey was actually best friends, like before she met me, with his girlfriend at the time, Taylor. We're gonna call her Taylor because that's actually really close to her actual name, so her name was Taylor. So because Casey was best friends with this girl, I tried my hardest to become friends with her as well, just so she didn't have to feel like she was like fighting to figure out who she wanted to hang out with more. And gotta be honest, it was mostly for me. And I had no idea that Taylor and David were dating until I walked up to the group with Casey to say hi and introduce myself to them. And at least to Taylor, noticed that they were holding hands and being cute together. And I asked her, I was like, what's the deal with those two? And she's like, oh, they're dating. Why? I'm like, because I dated him. And she's like, what? She's like, yeah, I dated. I'm like, yeah, I dated him like years ago, like in 6th grade. She's like, that's weird. I'm like, I know. So fast forward to a couple of months later, Casey was invited to Taylor's Sweet 16 party. I think it was her Sweet 16. Either that or her quinceañera, but she wasn't Spanish. I don't think she was Italian, but whatever. She was invited and I was allowed to go as her +1 because I had become friends with Taylor. And so we went, had a fun time, and he was there. I would constantly feel like someone was looking at me. You know that feeling when like you can tell when someone's looking at you and you just have to look out behind you and be like, who the fuck's looking at me? That's what I felt like the entire night. We leave, have a good time. I don't talk to him. I don't really like go near him. I try my best to stay away from him because I don't want Taylor to get any like weird fixed feelings, because I was not the kind of girl who would go and like try to hook up someone's boyfriend. That's fucking disgusting. Left them alone, had a good time with Casey, focused on being with my girls, having fun, and we had to have a blast. It was a really fun party. Fast forward even more now to, I want to say, about 2 months after me and Michael broke up. David actually gets a hold of me on MySpace. This is back when MySpace was still a thing. He messaged me on MySpace and he's like, listen, I'm sorry, I heard about what happened with you and Michael. I know you really liked him and I thought he really liked you. And funny story, Michael and David were actually very best friends. And I'll have to tell you at the end of this, like what's going on now, the situation between them, because they're actually still connected in a weird way. You're like one of the best girls I've known, blah, 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 all this crap. And then he starts to flirt with me. And at this point in my life, this was around the time, this was like maybe 2010, I want to say, 2011. This is around the time that I actually first made my initial move completely to New York. I didn't move until months after this whole thing happened, but I was still trying to figure out what I wanted to do because I had no idea what I wanted to do, no idea where I wanted to go, but I knew I wanted a change of scene. I wanted something different. So I really wasn't looking to be tied down in a relationship, especially not one in Florida. So I let him flirt with me and I didn't really give anything back to him because like I said, wasn't looking for a relationship and I wasn't gonna just let this guy, you know, be dragged along thinking that he has a chance. I did let him know immediately that I wasn't interested, but after a couple of weeks of actually talking, and he actually was a really good listener, I started to grow feelings for him, unfortunately. Fast forward to about maybe a month and a half later, we still started talking and everything, and we were trying to figure out why the relationship wouldn't have worked. And I told him, like, listen, it's because I literally am just so uncommitted to anything at the moment. Like, I don't even have a college major picked out. At this point, I'd been out of school for a good 2 years. So I had no idea what the hell I was doing with my life at that point. So to be committed to a relationship, to be committed to anything was like, not gonna happen. We give another shot, and this is when all the fuckery starts. So now we are up and current to where we need to be for this fuckboy fuckery to begin. We try a relationship one more time, and the first thing he tells me as soon as we got together, we made it official, was at Taylor's birthday party. I really wanted to, you know, make out with you and be with you, but not with her. And I was like, listen, I'm flattered, that's nice, but that's fucked up because you were so in love with this girl and all you wanted to do was be with her, and now you're trying to turn around and make it look like you wanted me. That you don't do that. That's fucked up. You know damn well you had strong feelings for that girl. And he's like, yeah, I know, I did, but I will always have a connection with you. I'm like, that's chill, whatever, but don't ever fucking put down some other girl just because all of a sudden now you have someone else in your life. You always have feelings for that person, no matter what. We hang out a couple times, and we had a lot of fun. Like, he was a very fun person to be with. He was a really good listener, really good talker, always gave great advice, and it doesn't matter if I asked for it or not, he kind of just put it out there. And then I noticed, like, more and more that he really was trying to hint towards sex. And I told him I wasn't ready, and he at first was actually very good with it. Like, he respected it, he was fine with it, had no issue, and didn't ever push the issue. We get to maybe about 3 months together, and things start to get a little weird. So at this point, we've already become a couple, like an official couple. Everyone knows we're dating, everyone knows we're together, everyone knows we have a pretty good, decent amount of time together. And we don't really have any problems with each other at all. No problems with jealousy, no problems with, trying to be possessive at all on either end. I didn't care what he did. He can go out with his friends, I could go out with my friends. There's no issue there. One day, I went out to, I think it was dinner with him, actually, and we were at this restaurant. He said it's very special, and we were supposed to be, like, celebrating a couple month anniversary kind of thing, and he pulled me to the side, and he told me, he's like, I want to let you know that I'm in a gang. And I'm like, what? And initially, it was kind of one of those things that I was actually able to believe a little bit, because where he lived, the neighborhood next to me, was considered the ghetto or the hood. It was Seminole Manor, and that's considered like a very, very like hood area, and he lived in that area, and there's a lot of gang violence, gang-related things in that area. So I, at first, assumed maybe he is, and that's whatever, I don't want to be involved. I was very taken aback by that, because it's something that I would have wanted to know initially in the relationship. Like, from the jump, I would have wanted to know, like, this guy is fucking with gangs. I would have never gotten involved with him. However, with 3 months down in the relationship, I was kind of like, okay, well, why didn't you tell me? I was kind of pissed off. This was red flag number 1. The fact that he was willing to hide things from me was really just like a big turn off for me, because I hate having secrets in relationships. And I actually believed that he was in the gang until he told me what gang it was. So I was like, okay, well, what are you affiliated with? And he's like, well, you can't tell anybody. And he leans in like this, and he's like, the mafia. At this point, I'm kind of just like, what the fuck is even going on right now? He legit is looking at me like he is 100,000% serious. And I'm just like, okay, whatever you say, guy. He dropped me off at home, and as soon as we get into my bedroom, because I said I wanted to get changed because we were going to go out and meet some friends, I was getting in my bedroom, and all of a sudden he starts like to make out with me, which I don't mind. Like, I didn't mind making out, like I like making out and stuff like that, but the grabbing and all that kind of stuff I just wasn't comfortable with at that point. And he started to grab on me and stuff like that, and I made it aware. I was like, listen, I don't know what you're trying to do right now, but I'm not comfortable with this right now. And he got mad at me. He's like, it's been 3 months, like, when are you gonna put out? I was like, excuse me? You need to get the fuck out of my room. So he bursts out of my room in a fit of rage because I turned him down, and I was like, what the fuck is even going on? First, this kid tells me he's in the mafia, which I could not wait to get home and laugh about. Second of all, he's trying to push sex on me and tell me I need to put out because it's been 3 months. Excuse me, boo-boo. There is no force big enough or strong enough on this earth or universe that's gonna make me do anything I don't want to do. So, fuck you. After that initial incident, I was really like, okay, I need to reassess this situation, because clearly this is not going to work out for either of us, and especially not for me. I didn't talk to him for a couple of days. I want to say maybe a week. I didn't hear from him, didn't talk to him at all. And he gives me a call, and he's like, listen, I'm going to come over and talk to you. I have a lot to say to you. So I was like, okay, here we go. Whatever. I assumed that he had gotten the point that I didn't want to be with him anymore because of what had happened, but clearly that was not going to be the case. He had to be told that it wasn't going to be happening. He comes over to my house, and we sit on my porch, And we're outside, and he's like, I want to say that I'm so sorry. I disrespected you. I never meant to do that to you. Da-da-da, all this bull crap. He's like, you have to understand that I'm a man, and men have needs. I'm like, I understand you have needs, but you need to understand that as a man dating a woman, I also have respect levels that need to be met. And if I say no, that means no. I would never force him to have sex with me, and I would never expect him to give in to me at all. Even if I wanted it so bad that he didn't want to, I would never force sex on anybody. And a lot of people are going to be like, okay, well, you were prudes, you deserve to be cheated on. No, fuck you. No one deserves to be cheated on because they don't want to put out. If you want someone to put out and you're with somebody who is not interested in that kind of thing, then just find somebody else. Don't waste your time on, say, me or anybody else who is not wanting to put out. Respect that person and their beliefs and their wants to keep themselves to themselves. Like, they don't want to give that to you because they're not ready. My thoughts were, I wanted to give this to somebody that I knew I had a future with. And I'm so happy I waited till I had Nick. And I am so happy that I didn't do it with him, because I guarantee you I would have regretted it the rest of my life. So anyways, there's my little lesson for this video. So I was like, listen, clearly we're not going to work out. Like, I don't see this working out at all. He's like, but I want us to work out. Like, what can I do to make this right? And I was like, I don't think there's really anything you could do. Like, I'll give you a chance, but I can't promise you that I'm going to be, like, ready and willing to make this work at the end of whatever you do. I told him I wanted a couple days to, like, think to myself and just kind of go inside myself and think, like, do I really want to give this guy a second chance? A couple of days later, once again, we are hanging out, and he is intoxicated. And I had a red flag. Like, I was on alert the entire time, and I was a dumbass for not leaving him the first time, second time. And I should have, and I know that now. Like, I was a very naive person back then, and I believed really heavily in giving people second chances. And I know second chances don't happen twice, they only happen one time. We're at this little get-together, and he's around friends, and he is intoxicated. And I, at this point, thank God I had a couple of friends with me at the party, and it wasn't even a party, it was just a, like, hangout, whatever. And we start dancing, whatever, and he starts groping me again. And this time he's getting forceful. And I was like, nope, done. So I walked away from him, and I asked my friend who brought me, actually, to bring me home. And he was actually very pissed off at what happened. And so he brought me home, and I didn't hear from David for a very long time. I want to say maybe a week and a half. I didn't hear from him. Then one night I was walking my dog with my little sister and a couple of her little friends. And we were walking around our little neighborhood. We had this big lake in the middle of the neighborhood. We were walking around. There was a parking lot not too far off from where the laundromat is, the mailboxes, all that kind of stuff is there in the complex. And we were walking around that area in the light, always staying in the light. And I get a phone call from him, finally, after a long ass time not hearing from him. And he says, hey, what are you doing? Just want to check up on you. And I was like, nothing much, hanging out with my little sister right now, walking the dog. Why? He's like, oh, I just want to check up on you, make sure you're okay, but I can see you're okay. And I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, because I'm watching you right now. And I was like, what the fuck? I was like, what are you talking about? You're watching me right now. Where are you? He's like, I don't need to tell you that. All you need to know is that I'm watching you and you're safe. And I was like, what the fuck? I was like, okay, what am I wearing? I just wanted to make sure that he was being real, not trying to fuck with me. And he described my outfit to a T. To a T, and then went along and described how many girls were with me and what they were wearing. I cannot tell you how fast my ass ran back to that house. He's like, because I'm watching you right now. And I was like, what the fuck? I was like, what are you talking about? You're watching me right now. Where are you? He's like, I don't need to tell you that. All you need to know is that I'm watching you and you're safe. And I was like, what the fuck? I was like, okay, what am I wearing? I just wanted to make sure that he was being real, not trying to fuck with me. And he described my outfit to a T. To a T, and then went along and described how many girls were with me and what they were wearing. I cannot tell you how fast my ass ran back to that house. I'm pretty sure if I was competing in the Olympics, I would have been a fucking winner, because I went my happy ass, ran to that fucking house. And those of you who know me, I don't run unless something's chasing me. And this bitch had me fucking running a fucking marathon. I hang up the phone, and I'm just like, I'm so creeped out at this point. And I was contemplating calling the cops, because I was just so over it, the entire situation. And like I said, again, it was my fault for not making clear that the relationship was over. But I've learned from my mistakes, and hopefully you guys will too. So I get to the house, and we all get in the house, and I lock all the doors, close all the windows. The girls are putting towels and blankets and everything on the windows. At this point, my dad is at his band practice for a good couple hours, and he had just left. as soon as I walked the dog. So he was going to be gone for a couple hours. So we made sure we bolt locked everything just to make sure. Next day. And he sits and tells me, he's like, listen, I want to talk to you. I'm like, listen, I don't give a fuck at this point. Like, I could give two shits what you do or what you have to say. He's like, well, no, I just want to let you know why I haven't been seeing you often this couple weeks. And I was like, again, I don't give a fuck. I could give no fucks less. Like, I don't care. And he's like, okay, well, you know that I had to deal with some gang-related issues here in the neighborhood, and I have to travel to Chicago to see my family because someone got shot up in Chicago. I was like, listen, I don't know what the fuck you're smoking, but I need to know who your connect is, because I guarantee you I can make some bomb-ass money with whatever you're smoking. Everyone's gonna fucking want it. He was pissed off, like mad that I literally disrespected him in that way, or as far as he said, disrespected him in that way. He then texted me, and he kept texting me and texting me and texting me. I was like, listen, we are done. I don't want to fucking see you again. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to know what the fuck you're doing, where you're going, who you're with. I don't give a shit. Come to find out, a couple of weeks later, he was actually banging some other girl on the side. And at this point, I was kind of like, you know what? I wouldn't give a fuck if he broke up with me. Like, I understand that people have needs, but don't waste my time. Don't waste our time. Like, you knew I wasn't going to put out. And the fact that you were willing to stay with me clearly meant that you knew what you were doing when you cheated on me. Like, you knew what you were doing. You wanted to have me in a relationship with you, but you wanted to have, you know, you want to get a piece of ass on the side. I would have respected him so much more if he had just broken up with me the minute I said I wasn't interested in sex. Like, if he were to tell me, listen, it's not going to work out, I wanted someone who was going to put out, I would have been like, you know what, that's chill. At least you're not disrespecting me and our relationship and make me look like an idiot in front of my friends. It turns out he gets her pregnant and has a kid with her. Now, Michael, the guy I told you about last week, has a kid with her as well, and now he's taking care of both David's and his kid with this girl. It's just fucking hilarious how everything happened, but he was the biggest douchebag. I could not believe, like, the fuckery he came up with. Turns out he was never in a fucking gang. There's no one in the mafia at this point in that neighborhood. I even asked a bunch of my fucking homeboys who live in that fucking neighborhood. There was no one in the mafia affiliated there. That's strict. I could not believe, like, the fuckery he came up with. Turns out he was never in a fucking gang. There's no one in the mafia at this point in that neighborhood. I even asked a bunch of my fucking homeboys who live in that fucking neighborhood. I was not born in a barn, but I could smell bullshit from a mile away. So yeah, that was the psychopath douchebag. The psychopath douchebag fuckboy. If you have any questions or anything, please ask them. If you have any, you know, stories about your fuckboy experiences, leave them down below, or fuckgirl experiences, leave them down below. But if there's anything you can take away from this, please just learn from my mistakes. Don't ever let anybody make you feel like you have to do anything. Don't ever let anyone disrespect you in any way, shape, or form. If you don't want to have sex, like I said, honey, there is no force strong enough on this earth or in this universe to make you do anything you do not want to do. Please know that. You are in charge of your own body. If you don't want to have sex, if you don't want to do anything, that is your decision. And what anyone else thinks of you is none of your business. Focus on yourself, be a king and a queen or whatever you are, and just focus on yourself and do what you gotta do for yourself. Don't worry about making everyone else happy. Make yourself happy first, because your happiness should come first and foremost before anybody else's. That's all I have to say. I love you guys. Bye.